Hello, America. Data 2.0 here. We got to understand something about the human mind. It's a frequency generator. That's why when a kid grows up, seeing his parents argue and his mom struggling, that's at a very pivotal point of a child's development. And the reason we have a criminality problem, the reason we have a drug problem, pretty much, not all, but a lot of it can be sourced back to this. So the initial programming of the child is our problem. These people that we're going to try to heal, which are criminally insane, criminal drug addicts, they need a new operating system. So in this environment that we've already talked about yoga, we've already talked about the diet, we've already talked about the exercise that needs to happen. Now we got to talk about the overall environment. What happens is people like to talk about their gangs, they like to talk about the crimes they've done, they like to glorify it. But something tells me after they've gone through the first two steps of the writing and they pass the second step, a lot of that, they'll know what they're in this third step for, and that will be toned down. We can't have negative interactions here. This has got to be, this is a spiritual journey where they need to be, and we also have to monitor their phone calls, like every one of them, and we would have to reduce their ability to access the phone. And now this is already done in an incarcerated environment. This isn't like, oh, human rights, oh my God. If you go to reception in Wasco or Delano or Chino, you get like one 15-minute phone call a month, and it's like, it has a time slot of like 7 in the morning and nobody answers. So you don't talk to somebody for like 3 months. We're trying to reprogram their mind. So if they call their chick or their friend and they're like, yeah, man, I'm struggling out here, I'm doing drugs, and they're this negative, this has to be like a tranquil environment. This is like we're reloading an operating system. So if they call and they're listening to the struggles of all the people on the street, that's a negative interaction. That is lithographically, that frequency through the phone, it goes into their brain, gets processed, and gets loaded into their memory. We can't have any of that. Can't be no negative interaction. The third thing is that TV that are in all these dorms, okay? With all the garbage that they watch. Now we all watch this garbage and stuff, but some people can resist it more than these people. These people, the content that we watch that is on that TV needs to be working in our advantage. I would say Outdoor Boys, Luke Nichols, is probably one of the best candidates because this is what all these people were missing as a child. See how being a man's really done. They also missed an intelligent father, someone that can teach them how to use money and teach them the understanding of investment and stuff like this. So if I had to pick some content for that, I would say Rick Rule. Rick Rule is one of the best commodity investors and understands money and investments. Like, brain will explode if you tried to comprehend how smart Rick Rule is. And other people that are of the same school of thought, which would be like Jesse Day from Commodity Culture, or Kai Hoffman from, or Mining Stock Monkey. These are about to be the next royalty of America, because as we go into this era of what looks like an economic collapse or depression of sorts, the money doesn't go anywhere. The wealth doesn't actually go anywhere. I mean, that doesn't work like that. It just changes hands. So it's going to change hands into people that understand how to invest in commodities. Commodities are what goes up when everything falls apart. Right? Grandma and Grandpa? Yeah, they said that's what happened last time too. Yeah. So you can watch those people and realize that they're going to be the new American royalty. Okay? Because they understand everything. That would be cool for them to see that, because we're preloading different stuff that they were missing in their life, right? Okay, the power of thought and the power of the frequency generator in their brain. I would suggest Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about epigenetics, how our thoughts create reality, how our thoughts affect our actual genetics. I have his books right here. Okay, Evolve Your Brain. He was able to heal himself. There's tons of research Dr. Joe Dispenza has done about how you can heal yourself with your thoughts. The things that we show them in this moment or in this time period are very important. The interactions they have, that's why we have to monitor their phone calls. We have to monitor what they say to each other. And then we have to monitor what they see on this TV. Now, a lot of what you see on these things and on the TVs is brainwashing. We also need to wash their brain, but with positive stuff. We need to give them all the advantages of all the kids that had a good childhood. for those who have skin problems or those that suffer from, that didn't have like the highest metabolism or was suffering from the standard American diet, Dr. Gundry, baby, love you. Right? One of my heroes, dude. He's the doctor father that we all wish we had that would just put us on point, you know? I have one of his, but Dr. Eric Berg, because at the end of this whole process, it's probably going to take about 2-3 months, there's going to be some fasting that needs to happen once we kill the candida. But they'll have a lot better power to do so once we kill the candida. It'll be like, oh yeah, don't eat for a few days, no big deal, you know? But the candida has to die first. So this is very important to do in an incarcerated environment, because in an incarcerated environment, there's none of these. These things ruin so much about your mind. It's unbelievable. We're going to be making sure that on that phone, there's no negative interactions they have. We're going to be making sure that they ain't talking to each other, talking about their war stories and lying to themselves and glorifying the life of doing drugs and stealing stuff and shooting each other and smoking meth, you know, and taking advantage of girls that suffer from trauma and drug addiction. Because that's what they talk about constantly. And we need to make sure that they don't have any negative interactions with the person on the phone, talking to each other. The content has to be filled with the content that they were missing as a child. So we can take and give them the same advantages that somebody that had a good childhood with both the masculine and feminine energy and a good home. We need to reinstall that on these people's minds, because that's what they're suffering from. That's why they were doing what they were doing. That's as much as I want to say about the quantum frequency generator and balance that they have in their brain, and the environment that we need to create that's going to heal them. That's going to stop them from reoffending. It's going to stop them from stealing stuff. Going to stop them from doing carjackings. Going to stop them from shooting each other. Going to stop them from smoking meth. Going to stop them from living in tents and smoking fentanyl and dying in the streets. Okay? That's what we got to do. I didn't say it was going to be easy, America. I never said that. But I'm going to tell you it works. If you question whether any of this works, I'm right here. Look at me. I love every single one of you. And if you want to, you can like and subscribe. But more than anything, I'd appreciate a prayer. That's what I really appreciate. So that's what we need more than anything right now. We need hope. That's what I'm trying to provide to us. A glimpse of hope in a dark world. Until next time, it's Daniel 2.0. And I love every single one of you. Until next time.